I was born in the wrong generation is something you would typically hear for things like fashion and or culture. For me personally, I was born too late to enjoy being a white guy in the 1940s. Sure, it's undeniable that I still do have some privileges nowadays, but not like back then. I'd be able to walk out of high school and work in my local wood salesman role because back then you could just make shit up and get paid for it. And then somehow I assume I get a salary of like 100k a year and buy a 10-bedroom house with just me and my wife. And don't even get me started on the freedom. Oh, I get to say racial slurs as much as I want, when I want, to whoever I want. I mean, I still do, but I have to be more secretive about it. Back then, they would have made me the mayor of my town. Although there is one benefit of being born in the generation that I am. I get to learn about high schoolers sucking toes for a charity event. There's that famous saying, I was too late to explore the oceans. I was too early to explore the cosmos, but I'm just in time to enjoy toe jam competitions. Let's start with the what, how, why, and when. In the little old city of Oklahoma town, at a little known high school, and yes, I am dropping it by name because I feel like they should be shamed, a little charity event was hosted in order to raise money for disabilities. At Deer Creek High School, it appears that they encourage their students to think well outside of the box, as typically when I was growing up and I was going to school, you would have a pancake day and or a book fair drive to raise money. However, the students and faculty of Deer Creek High felt it would be appropriate rather to munch on the piggies of a couple of willing participants. Here's some footage of it.
He is devouring them!
Now, it has been many years since I've left school, but even all of the schools I've observed from the bushes all still appear to do similar events like I did as a kid, i.e. pancake day or book drives. So respectfully, I have to ask the question, why the f can't you just do those? Put yourself in the position of being a parent, and little Timothy comes up to you with his buck tooth and dares to speak to you about fetching you a beer from the fridge. Of course, first, before he can even get his words out, you gotta let him know who's boss! After you inevitably calm down because you are in fact a loving father and just want your son to respect you, you allow Timothy to speak. He then mentions to you that his school is doing a fundraiser and asks you for a donation. Now, of course, your eyes glaze over with a red rage and ask Timothy in your best non-aggressive voice, "Where the f were they when I was in Vietnam?" Before Timothy politely reminds you that you were never in Vietnam and you just fell asleep in front of the TV drunk again, and all he's asking for is $5. Would you, as a parent, be satisfied with giving your money towards this good cause if you then later found out that the school board not only actively encouraged but engaged with underage sexualization? Jokes aside, homies, how can I put this? Realistically, in my mind, I don't think you can gain any other benefit from sucking on toes besides sexual gratification and or really clean toenails. So to me, this is kind of just like the school board sanctioning underage student relations in a public setting in front of a viewing audience. And I really don't think that's much of a stretch. As an expert in the field myself, I can tell you for a fact, I've never gained any special benefits from sucking on people's feet. Not until the end, anyway. So I just can't fathom or see how you could possibly spin this in any other direction. The argument could be made that this is just students being students and or kids being kids, but the role of a school, aka the people who mold children's young minds, and or parents, is to tell those kids to stop being so fucking stupid. I know we all think as kids that we know better than those around us, but honest to God, and even still to this day, I was a idiot. I needed people around me to tell me no. And that's what needed to happen in this situation as well. How did nobody in the pipeline of all of the adults sit and say to themselves, this is a really bad idea? It's also worth mentioning through my research, the school does have an inappropriate history when it comes to childcare. For example, they had a bus driver that was let go for possession of a word I cannot say, so I'm gonna mix it up and I'm sure you can unjamble it yourself, Shaniaphilography, as well as also having a baseball coach that made his students drag their knuckles across the concrete for some reason, whom was also let go. I only bring that up to make the case to you that at the very least this school is criminally neglectful and or dangerously incompetent. So with that knowledge in your little noggin, it would be absolutely no surprise to you that instead of immediately apologizing Yakuza style,
fucking leave us in this.
They initially tried to deflect, and also to clarify, because initially it was being reported that the students were in fact licking faculty members' feet, and they wanted to come outright and deny that. They then carried on by saying because of the efforts of the students, they raised over $150,000, to which we all collectively breathed a sigh of relief. Oh, thank goodness they weren't licking adults' toes. The adults were just in the room watching them lick each other's toes. God, it's so stupid! They then pretty much made absolutely zero effort to apologize, clarify, or make sense of their decision making, and just kept reiterating how much money they had raised for charity. Which is God's work, mind you, but I do feel like it could have happened without feet entering other people's mouths. But that's just me. Now, I want to reiterate, although I don't think I've even said it yet, I am not a parent, but I can also reiterate, as someone who spends a lot of time in bushes staring at schools, I would understand how a parent would feel to find out that their kid was involved in this. Because objectively, I'm sorry, this is insane. This is crazy. That anybody facilitated this. And then the people who facilitated and put this event together didn't even acknowledge or admit their fault. This is their statement. We want to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of many of our students and staff that combined to making WWF a week with activity and events designed to bring our community together. Those involved in our WWF activities deserve our full support for their philanthropic interactions. Their effort led us to raising $152,000 for a meaningful organization that serves communities far beyond Deer Creek. Thank you for standing with us and helping us weather this storm and move forward together. Dude, you should be fired. What the fuck? Unsurprisingly, their deflection and trying to outsource their evil with good. It's not that dramatic, but it just sounded cool. They, of course, inevitably caved and buckled their knees. And a couple days later, finally apologized. Or rather, the school district did. Through the specific game, we failed to uphold the dignity of our students and the proud image of our community. We have a responsibility to protect our antlers and showcase them in a positive light. We fell short for that and we greatly apologize. As of right now, nobody has lost their job, and the only outcome was a couple of outraged clicks, as well as very, very dusty tongues from licking dirty toes. I also want to say for the record, I do believe that the parents play a little bit of a responsibility in this role, as I feel like you would have overheard your kids inevitably talking about this dumbass idea that's happening at your dumbass school. But I also feel pretty confident in saying, as a parent, I should be able to trust the school is not making my children lick feet, or at least allowing them to. For all of you concerned parents out there, you have me in the bushes to make sure that it won't happen again. So the least you could do is give me a subscribe so I can better protect our community. That's all I have to say on the matter, guys. Thank you for watching as always. Bye bye.